Hey, welcome back to Ben King and Just Can't Stop Talking, the 10-ish minute news and culture show where I talk about everything that happened today so that you're a little bit smarter about a lot of things. It is Tuesday, March 11th, and I don't know, longest Tuesday of my life, I guess. That's all the intro I have. I don't know. My brain's mush. I've been up since 5:30. You know the drill by now. We're going to start with everything that happened overnight, leading into everything that happened today. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Starting last night with Neo, the singer Neo, posting a video of his 4 girlfriends saying, quote, "Since the world is so intrigued, I guess I should introduce my loves properly. Ladies and gents, I present my pyramid." And this is how I find out that Neo has 4 girlfriends. Whatever happened to Miss Independent?
Miss Independent, won't you come and spend a little time?
So a new movie called Drop, starring Meghann Fahy from White Lotus, debuted at 100% on Rotten Tomatoes last night based on 11 reviews, and I fear I must see it immediately. And finally, former Philippines President Rodrigo Duterte was arrested on an international criminal court warrant over his, quote, war on drugs that killed thousands of people during his term as president. And he got flown out to The Hague and all that. So on to the news of today. Southwest Airlines announced that they are ending their free bag policy starting on May 28th, which I don't get. It's like they were thinking, let's take everything that our people already don't like, but make everything worse. In a long, rambling tweet that I won't subject you to, Trump announced an additional 25% tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum, resulting in a total of 50% tariffs, meaning that costs of housing and cars and infrastructure will all be more expensive. And as you can imagine, this resulted in the stock market absolutely crashing this morning, with the Dow dropping over 400 points before 11 a.m. If I haven't made this abundantly clear before, he does not care about us, and his administration is already trying to gaslight us all into thinking that the tariffs and the stock market crashes and rising prices are a good thing. Here is his Secretary of Agriculture, billionaire Brooke Rollins, talking about how the only way to make us rich is to actually start by making us poor.
Bring our economy back after the malaise of the Biden years, but it's going to be a little bit bumpy. It will be imperfect. I mean, if it was easy and you could do it overnight, then it would happen with a snap of a fingers, but that's not it. And I think what's really telling is the president is so focused on not the short term, which, as we all know, in politics, everyone's always worried about the short term. He truly wants to fix America so that we have the American dream for everyone in a way that we lost in the last 4 years. And until Trump won, we'd lost for a long, long time. So this is really the reality where we are today. But I think Kevin's vision that it's going to be a little bumpy for a few weeks, but once we move into second quarter, we'll see a turnaround through deregulation, through lower taxes, through less government, through a focus on private enterprise and free markets versus a focus on bigger government spending, which is what we had in the last administration.
Former California Democratic Congresswoman Katie Porter has announced that she's running for governor of California, and I'm obsessed with this because I love Katie Porter. I am curious, however, what this means for Kamala Harris, considering the rumors we're talking about Katie Porter being the top person in the race for governor if Kamala Harris planned not to run, but if Kamala decided to run, it kind of clears the entire field. So if Katie Porter is running, she's either trying to get ahead of this or she knows something that we don't know. Barstool Sports founder Dave Portnoy revealed that the Trump administration reached out to him for a job in the Commerce Department, but he said he declined it because he'd have to leave being in charge of Barstool Sports, which he didn't want to do. Donald Trump is saying in a new statement that it's actually illegal for Americans to protest Elon Musk by not buying his Teslas or Tesla stocks, saying, quote, "To Republicans, conservatives, and all great Americans, Elon Musk is putting it on the line in order to help our nation, and he is doing a fantastic job. But the radical left lunatics, as they often do, are trying to illegally and collusively boycott Tesla, one of the world's great automakers and Elon's baby, in order to attack and do harm to Elon and everything he stands for." He then went on to say that he's going to buy a brand new Tesla as a show of confidence in Elon Musk. Let it be known that A, Donald Trump doesn't drive, and B, he's obviously trying to artificially boost Tesla's stock because Elon's his buddy. And of course, C, remember yesterday when I told you that arresting and threatening a green card holding Palestinian activist with deportation for protesting Israel at Columbia University was a direct infringement of the First Amendment and a very slippery slope? Well, some would say that the president calling a boycott of a brand illegal because him and the CEO of said brand kiss sometimes is exactly what I was talking about vis-a-vis that slippery slope. So Amazon Prime's Legally Blonde prequel called Elle has added June Diane Raphael to their cast. And you know her as Brianna from Grace and Frankie.
Hello, chef. Tell us what you're making today.
It's personal lubricant.
Mom, Frankie verbally molested me.
Anyway, she has been cast as Elle's mom alongside Lexi Minitry, who will play young Elle Woods. The new season of Hacks is back, with HBO Max officially releasing the trailer and key art for the 4th season of one of the funniest shows that I have ever seen personally, which debuts with a dual episode premiere on April 10th.
Ma'am, get out of the vehicle.
I'm live on Instagram. You are being recorded and broadcast directly to 6 witnesses. 4 witnesses. 5, he's back 5.
So you know influencer and notorious party girl Alex Earl, yeah? The one who's dating Miami Dolphins player Braxton Berrios, right? So Braxton signed yesterday a 1-year deal with the Houston Texans, and Alex Earl, who is living in Miami currently, is now teasing a move to Texas. So speaking of Alex Earl, she launched her own canned margarita brand today called Sip Margs, while makeup influencer Michaela Noguera launched her own makeup brand called Point of View. So the Welsh Five, aka that group of friends that are all from Wales that came to the US and are just having like a great time eating their way through our big cities, have announced that they are coming back to the US in T-minus 1 week. And they haven't said where yet, but the official Visit Las Vegas account commented, quote, excited to see the next adventure with the, side eyes emoji, like I'm looking, on Yayan's post, to which he immediately commented, Vegas, what are you doing here with the same eyes emoji? So it's like, we all know they're going to Las Vegas, right? Ukraine announced that they are ready to accept a US proposal for an immediate 30-day ceasefire in its war with Russia, so long as Russia does the same. And by all means, let's just trust that Russia, should they give their word, will keep their word. So I told you yesterday that Aaron Rodgers was going to be the quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings. Well, now people are reporting that he's actually focused on either going to the Pittsburgh Steelers or the New York Giants, and that the Viking rumors were fake. And I don't know what to believe anymore because everything online is a lie, apparently. But here's one thing we do know in sports news. Tiger Woods announced that he underwent a surgery for a ruptured Achilles tendon this morning and is expected to make a full recovery, according to the doctor who performed the surgery. A reduction in force notice went out to the Department of Education today, firing nearly half of the department, which is over 1,300 people. How much do you want to bet that the remainder of that department is going to be solely focused on hunting down those of us that still have student loan debt instead of providing, skills to rural Americans, teaching them how to read and maybe do math? And as a little added bonus, the Secretary of Education and former WWE CEO, Linda McMahon, let us know today what the future of education in the U.S. looks like.
Now, is this the first step on the road to a total shutdown?
Yes, actually it is, because that was the president's mandate, his directive to me, clearly is to shut down the Department of Education, which we know we'll have to work with Congress, to get that accomplished.
So at 1:30 p.m., Trump reversed the Canadian tariffs, the additional 25% that I mentioned that he put on just this morning. Is this that stable genius part we were talking about? Speaking of Trump, Rosie O'Donnell announced that she has left the U.S. on January 15th and is now living in Ireland. She's not planning to consider returning until, quote, it's safe for all citizens to have equal rights in America. So the House of Representatives voted to pass a continuing resolution, 217 to 213, with only one Democrat voting yes, which was Jared Golden from Maine, and only one Republican voting no, which was Thomas Massey from Kentucky. And before anybody gets in the comments freaking out over a Democrat voting in support of this, please consider that it was going to pass with Republican votes anyway. And he sits in a district that Trump won by 6 points and still voted for a Democrat in Congress. I would personally put money on the fact that he's likely to run against Susan Collins for Senate. And if you're going to unseat a moderate, quote unquote, Republican senator in a state like Maine, you have to be a little bit moderate yourself. So if this is already going to pass, why would he not just give that vote and be like, look, I'm stopping the shutdown of the government. You can trust me. Like, this is just basic politics, I fear. Anyway, the continuing resolution will keep the government open through September, and it now goes over to the Senate, where they have to convince 7 Democrats to vote for it. So on top of all the Tesla gargling that Trump was doing today, he he announced that he is going to label violence against any Tesla dealership as domestic terrorism. And finally, one more thing that moved from yesterday to today. Remember when I told you that Wendy Williams was pulled out of her assisted living home and taken to the hospital for evaluation yesterday? Well, apparently she called into Good Day New York today, live from the hospital, saying that she received mental competency tests and passed with flying colors. Her caretaker then added that she's been deemed not incapacitated. And wherever this saga ends, I am going to need Janelle James. You know Janelle James, the one who played the principal, Ava Coleman, on Abbott Elementary.
Try an exercise where we say whatever we want out loud to each other, no matter how critical. It'll be fun. Let's start with Janine. Janine?
Yes.
You're pushy, squeaky, and annoying. Excuse me?
That's just...
No, it's not bad. No, we're sharing with the goal of making us all better.
I'm going to need her to play Wendy Williams in this biopic because I think she would do it a phenomenal justice. And with that being said, that's all the news of today. I know it was so much, and I'm sorry, I'm feeling low energy. I literally think listening back to this, I'm going to be like, oh my God, where was the energy at? But like I said, I've been up since 5:30 and on my computer since 5:30. I'm not complaining to you. I'm just stating why I sound low. If I sound low. If not, I will be back tomorrow either way. And then you'll just never have to think about me sounding low again. If you cannot wait until tomorrow, you know you can find me on social media. I am on TikTok and YouTube at I've Been Traveling. I'm on Instagram and Threads at Ben Keenan. You can find me here on the podcast at Ben Keenan Just Can't Stop Talking. On Spotify and Apple Podcasts, please remember to like, subscribe, follow, comment, share, view 150 times, whatever it is, because we're going to grow this community one way or another. Until tomorrow, bye.